in Pharmaceuticals in association with Higher Secondary Principals Forum.
Hello everyone, I am Preeti Madkaikar, teacher grade 1 in English at Shree Bhumika Higher Secondary School, and today I shall be taking up a topic from the supplementary reader Vistas, lesson number 5, Should Wizard Hit Mommy by John Updike. Let me introduce to you the author of this lesson and throw light on some of his literary achievements. John Updike was an American novelist, poet, short story writer, art critic and literary critic. One of the only 4 writers to win the Pulitzer Prize for fiction. Updike published more than 20 novels, more than a dozen short story collections, as well as poetry, art and literary criticism and children's book during his career. What is the theme of the lesson? Any relationship is likely to experience conflict, especially between a parent and a child. Parents hold a huge responsibility of shaping the lives of the children. They are responsible for making their children understand the difference between good and bad, right or wrong, and most importantly, how to be respectful to others. The story Should Wizard Hit Mommy addresses a very important moral issue. It deals with the idea that parents know what is the best for their children, because parents love their children unconditionally. They always want the best things to come to them, and they also have a wider perspective to life. This story also deals with child innocence and adult complexes. There's a generation gap that is reflected in the story. Generation gap between the father and the daughter. They both have conflicting opinions about a certain situation. They both disagree with each other and they have a hard time in accepting each other's viewpoint. Let us look at the characters in the story. We have a family of 4. Jack and Claire are husband and wife. They have 2 children, Joanne and Bobby. Jack is the protagonist of the story. He is uninspired and disillusioned with the responsibilities of family life, and he uses the stale ritual of telling his daughter a bedtime story. Claire in the story is 6 months pregnant. They are expecting their 3rd child. Joanne is 4 years old, but she is a very smart and intelligent girl. She is intent on expressing her ideas, opinions, and she wants that her viewpoints should be noticed and heard by other people. Now, Jack is telling Joanne a bedtime story. This is a story within a story, and so the characters in the bedtime story are Roger Skunk. Now, why Skunk was chosen as a character in the story? Because Joe is learning about the skunks at the nursery. A skunk is a North and South American mammal, and this animal is known for its ability to spray a liquid which has a very strong and unpleasant smell. This strong and unpleasant smell of the skunk is a very important part of its physical being, because this quality helps the animal in protecting itself. It is used as a defensive weapon to ward off bears and other potential attackers. We have Roger's mother in the story, who plays a very important role in the life of Roger Skunk in making him understand what is good and what is wrong for them. She emphasizes on individuality. She wants that her son should be original. He should learn to accept himself the way he is and not change himself in order to impress others. We have an owl, and then we have a wizard in the story. A wizard is described as a man with magical powers in legends and fairy tales. In the story Should Wizard Hit Mommy, the wizard is described as a little old man with a long white beard and a pointed blue hat. Now, let's look at the sequence of events in the story. Little children absolutely love to hear bedtime stories from adults. Jack has been telling his 4-year-old daughter Jo a bedtime story since the last 2 years, and now he's running out of fresh ideas. So each new story is a slight variation of the basic tale. There's always a creature called Roger. For instance, Roger Fish or Roger Chipmunk. He has a problem, so he goes to meet the wise old owl. The wise old owl suggests that he should go and meet the wizard, and the wizard performs a magic spell and solves the problem of Roger, and then demands in payment a number of pennies greater than what Roger has in his pocket, and in the same breath sends him to a place where he will be able to find those extra pennies. Roger finds those pennies, makes payment to the wizard, goes to the forest, plays with his friends, and returns home to his mommy just in time when his father comes home by train from Boston. The family takes dinner together and the story always has a happy ending. But today, Jack is going to tell Jo a story that is totally going to be different and away from the imagination of the little girl. In today's character, we have Roger Skunk, Roger's mother, the owl, and the wizard. Roger Skunk, he smells awful and he is bullied by other animals in the forest. He is lonely, he feels rejected, he has a very low self-esteem, and he is not happy about his existence. So he goes to meet the wise old owl, and the wise old owl suggests that he should go and meet the wizard. He knocks on the door of the wizard and he finds that the wizard's house is all messed up because he does not have a cleaning lady. He tells the wizard his problem. He tells him how all the other woodland creatures run away from him because he smells awful. And the wizard promises to solve his problem. So he performs a magic spell and gives Roger Skunk a smell of roses. And so now Roger smells roses. Roger goes to the magic well. He finds 3 pennies there and he pays the wizard. Then he goes to the forest, plays happily with his friends. He's no longer feeling lonely or bullied, and then he goes home to his mommy. Now he is hoping that his mom will be also very happy like him because he's smelling pleasant now. But his mother is furious upon learning that Roger Skunk is smelling roses. She holds Roger by his hand and takes him to the house of the wizard. Knocks on the door of the wizard. As soon as the wizard opens the door, she hits the wizard with an umbrella. And Jack concludes the bedtime story. Jo is unhappy with the ending of the story. She insists that the mother should be hit by the wizard. She is not ready to accept that the mother is being right in hitting the wizard, because according to her, the mother is the villain in the story because she is not letting her son smell roses. Because by smelling roses, Roger will be accepted in the society, he will be accepted by his peers. And a mother who does not want her son to be accepted in the society cannot be a good mother according to Jo. And so she insists that the father should change the ending of the story. She desires for an ending where the wizard hits the mother for not letting him smell roses. But the father is firm. He is not ready to change the ending of the story. He believes that the mother loves Roger Skunk unconditionally. She has a better perspective to life, and obviously whatever that she chooses for her son is going to be for his best. The father does not change the ending of the story. And he goes downstairs to help his wife Claire, who is painting the woodwork. She's preparing for the arrival of their 3rd child. Throughout the story. Jack was worried because he had to complete the story as early as possible, and he had to go down and help his wife because she was 6 months pregnant and she was moving the furniture. He was worried that she could harm herself or the baby. So Jack goes downstairs to help his wife Claire, and Jo is restless. She is unable to sleep because she is not happy with the way the story has ended. Justification of the title. Now the title is justified as the story revolves around the question of understanding. You as a reader, you're free to choose the perspective of the father or the perspective of the daughter. It is an open question put to the readers. It is a story within a story, and the daughter desires for an ending where the skunk is acceptable by his playmates, but the father ended the story where the skunk's real self remained intact. So you are free to arrive at your own conclusion. You can agree either with the father or with the child. The story deals with the family as a base unit. It suggests that family is an important support structure, and this is an important message for children. At the end of the day, after all, Roger Skunk has to return to his mommy, who knows what is the best for her son. Whatever she decides for Roger Skunk is going to be for a better future. Roger Skunk is unable to understand this at this stage of his life because he is a child and he has not been a very experienced person. According to the mother, friends who do not accept you for your individuality cannot be your real friends, and it's a waste of time and energy in trying to impress them. Jack wants to tell his daughter that one should not change how nature had made us for the sake of friends who run away from us. He views the lessons of life through the lens of experience. He wants to convey to his daughter that it is okay to be who you are. It is all right to be your authentic self. In due course of time, your friends will accept you as you are. He wants to convey that there are no instant solutions to problems in life. There's a question that Jo is asking her father in the story. Are magic spells real? And the father says that they are real in stories. That means in real life, magic spells are not real. And so when you have a problem in life, don't think a magic will take place and the problem will be solved immediately. We must learn to fight our own battles. We must learn to face our own problems, and solutions will come easily if we are patient and courageous. Jo is a smart and a very intelligent girl. She may be merely 4 years old, but throughout the story, she has asked her father a number of questions. Whenever the father made a mistake with regards to the story of Roger Skunk, she was quick enough in finding faults or finding mistakes that her father committed. She is also a very skeptical child. When her father told her that spiders eat bugs, she will turn to her mother and ask, do they really? And when her mother told her that God is all around us and in the sky, she would turn to her father and ask, Father, is he really? So she does not easily accept anything and everything that people tell her. She has an opinion of her own. She is growing up. And the father is sometimes unable to understand that this behavior of Jo is a part of her growing up. Sometimes the father does not accept the opinions of his daughter. He is unable to understand his daughter, and so is also sometimes Jo unable to understand Jack. John Updike does not give the story an ending. He leaves the story open-ended. Jo will not accept the father's point of view, and Jack will not accept the daughter's point of view. This generation gap between the father and the daughter results from a clash of worldviews and perspectives because they both belong to different age groups. The younger person thinks the elder person to be a preacher. someone who really doesn't know what the world, someone who really doesn't know about the world. The child in this case does not respect the father's wisdom. The elder person, on the other hand, is not ready to accept that the younger person has every right to think differently. The father does not realize that his daughter is growing up. Now let's have a look at some of the important questions in the story. What is the moral issue that the story raises? The moral issue is whether the children have the right to improve themselves. Should they obey their parents and go on being hated, or should they change to be welcomed in society? Most of you will be able to relate with Roger Skunk. You might have tried on many occasions to impress your friends. You might have tried on many occasions to fit in the box. You want to be accepted. You want to be loved by your friends. Sometimes you are afraid. Sometimes you are worried due to certain shortcomings within you, and that lowers your self-esteem. So you are constantly making efforts to impress others, to become like others, so that you are loved and accepted by everyone. Roger Skunk thinks on the same lines. He wants to change himself because he smells awful and he wants to be accepted by his friends. The moral issue in the lesson is raised by Joe. According to Jack's story, the mommy hit the wizard because he had given the skunk the smell of roses. But Joe thinks it should have been the other way. The skunk was right in asking for a sweet smell instead of a bad smell. So the wizard should hit the mommy for letting her son smell as bad as ever. Joe is not trying to understand the perspective of the mother. The mother believes that one should not give up one's individuality. We should be proud of our strengths and we should learn to accept our shortcomings, because what is natural is not disgraceful. That is the opinion of the mother, and the same opinion is of the father, Jack, as well. And so he does not want to change the ending of the story. Joe is unable to understand this fact of life because she is only a 4-year-old child and she thinks differently about life. The next question is, how does Joe want the story to end and why? Now, Jack has ended the story in a manner that the wizard is hit by the mother on his head with an umbrella because he gave Roger Skunk a smell of roses. So Joe was very happy in the beginning when she learned that Skunk had got a new pleasant smell of roses. And she thought that he will now go to play with his friends in the forest and the story will conclude. But the father continues and he says, the story is not over. Skunk's mother hits the wizard on his head and scolds him for changing her son's smell. So Joe wants her father to end the story in a manner that it is the wizard who hits the wicked and stupid mother for not letting her son smell pleasantly and accepted by his friends. Why does Jack insist that it was the wizard that was hit and not the mother? Despite several requests by Joe, Jack is not ready to change the ending of the story because he is firm on his belief that the mother is right. And when he is thinking so, he is remembering some of the humiliations of his past life. He is remembering some of the episodes of his past life when he also went through a difficult situation in life where people made fun of him and how his mother handled him perfectly with care and love. And so as an adult today, he can understand the viewpoint of the mother and he agrees with the mother when she went and she hit the wizard on his head. So Jack insists on the mother hitting the wizard because he thinks that the mother knows what is right for her child. He thinks that a child loves his mother and so accepts without question what she says. Jack firmly believes that mothers cannot commit mistakes and they deserve unchallenged and unconditional obedience for they know what is right for their children. The mother was justified in her belief that one should never give up one's individuality. What makes Jack feel caught in an ugly middle position? Jack is a very loving father and a very caring husband as well. His wife in the story is 6 months pregnant. She is painting the woodwork in the living room, and Jack has to go and help his wife in doing this work. But he also has to put his 4-year-old daughter to sleep, and she wouldn't sleep without a bedtime story. So when the story happens, Jack is supposed to be helping his wife paint the household furniture. But he cannot do so because he has to tell his daughter a story before her Saturday nap. He thinks that he will finish the story quickly and then go downstairs to help his wife. But the story takes rather long time, with Joe interrupting and asking several questions. Finally, at the end, Joe is absolutely not happy with the way the story has ended, and she neither goes to sleep nor did Jack manage to go downstairs and help his wife in painting the woodwork in time. Jack thus is face to face with an ugly middle position where he fails on all fronts and is neither able to make his daughter sleep nor is he able to help his wife in painting. Claire, who has finished quite a lot of work, complains that he has taken too long to tell the story. Now he is tired, bored and dejected, and he does not feel like doing anything because he is completely unsatisfied because nothing worked well on that day. Neither could he put his daughter to sleep, nor could he help his pregnant wife in painting the woodwork. He is intellectually very tired and he is feeling very depressed. Why is an adult's perspective on life different from that of a child? The adults grow used to the ways of the world. They have developed a particular outlook and begin to think that it is the only way in life. Children look at the world from a quite different angle. They are immature and form their own mental pictures. Besides, children's mind is inquisitive. They question the very ideas that adults have taken for granted. A child views things at a superficial and sensory level, but a grown-up's view is realistic, reflective, philosophical and even psychological. A child is completely different in thinking as compared to an adult. So one of the most important message for the reader by John Updike through the lesson, Should Wizard Hit Mommy, is that the noise of other people's opinion should not fade away the shine within you. Your self-worth is not found in the opinions of others. So do not change your individuality in order to impress someone else. Count your blessings and not your shortcomings or troubles in life. So with this, I would like to conclude this lecture. Thank you for patiently listening this lecture. Thank you and have a good day.
Prudent Scholars, powered by Lupin Pharmaceuticals.
अब आपकी सुरक्षा आपके हाथों में। ल्यूपी सेफ हैंड सैनिटाइजर, आपका और चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स का फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस। अब आपकी सुरक्षा आपके हाथों में। ल्यूपी सेफ हैंड सैनिटाइजर, आपका और चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स का फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस। अब आपकी सुरक्षा आपके हाथों में। ल्यूपी सेफ हैंड सैनिटाइजर, आपका और चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स का फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस।